call it cheese sauce. It's amore. You can put it in a lasagna tin, make it thick or thin, and do it your way. When you make bechamel and you add cheese as well, it's amore.
You're listening to Rebecca Bowen with Quite a Stir on Radio Cardiff 98.7 FM.
Good evening, food lovers. You're listening to Rebecca Bowen here at Radio Cardiff with Quite a Stir, where we talk all things flavour, fire and foodie fun. We're turning up the heat quite literally with one of Cardiff's boldest and most talked about food spots, Fowl and Fury, known for their crispy, spicy Nashville-style chicken and fearless flavours. They've brought some serious southern heat to the Welsh capital. We'll be chatting about how it all began and what makes their chicken so irresistible, and maybe even find out who can handle the hottest dish on the menu. So grab a drink, get comfy and get ready, because things are about to get fiery in here. But before that, we have a winner to our competition, Name That Guest. Our celebrity was due to come in tonight, but he's had to be called away to do some TV work. That's showbiz for you. We will pin Steve Balsamo down at some point, just not to the cross, as he was once portrayed as Jesus in the West End musical Jesus Christ Superstar. Paul Bowen has randomly selected the winner. It is Lisa Price. I will send you a password to receive your bespoke cocktail named Chimpane, a project Steve is currently working on, amongst other things. Here's our first track. It has to be from Chimpane, featuring Steve Balsamo and Sam Brown, entitled Sam's Song. Sam's voice, Sam's vocal performance is haunting, soulful and deeply expressive. Do yourself a favour and check out Chimpane.
Radio Cardiff, yeah, you done now.
Welcome back to the show. We are joined with Fowl and Fury. Would you like to give shout outs to family and friends?
Hi, yeah, I totally would. My wife Natalia is listening to this, my wonderful, wonderful wife. Thank you so much for doing the prep right now while I'm on a radio show. I very much appreciate this. The guys at Canton, Orion, Sam and Ben right now, all of the guys that are there usually, and all of the staff from Cathays. My friends Simon and Anna, whose house I did a lot of the work for Fowl and Fury in. And yeah, all my friends and family.
That's lush. Now, let's get straight in. Tell us, what is Nashville hot chicken?
So, Nashville hot chicken has an incredible story to it. A story that I'm always excited to tell everybody. Okay. So, most food is made from love, right? Yeah. Nashville hot chicken is made from hate.
Oh, God, okay.
Hate and revenge.
Ooh.
So, there is a guy called Thornton Prince. This starts with him. Thornton was a good-looking, charismatic man. Also, a little bit of a philanderer.
Oh.
So, he's a cheating man.
Right.
So, he comes home one night, smelling of another woman.
Uh-oh.
And his girlfriend at the time, who in the history books, it just goes by Girlfriend X.
Right.
Gets a little upset by this.
Yes.
And so, the next morning, she thinks to herself, how do I get him back? How can I get this cheating man back and make him feel the same sort of pain that I have felt?
Good.
With him cheating on me. So she decides to make him some fried chicken. And she decides to spike that fried chicken. Ooh. With a lot of chili powder. Ooh. A lot of cayenne. Unfortunately, Thornton liked it.
Oh!
Thornton liked it so much. He invites his friends around to eat the same chicken.
Uh-oh.
And he takes the recipe and opens Prince's barbecue chicken shack.
Oh my goodness.
And no one knows what happened to Girlfriend X after that. She just disappears to the history books. But Prince's hot chicken, as it's now known, is still around today. And it's known as, you know, one of the premier hot chicken restaurants and the place where all of this started from.
Wow.
So, as much as I don't want to say this, thank you, Thornton. 'Cause if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be here right now.
What a story. How did Fowl and Fury get started, and what inspired you to bring Nashville hot chicken to Cardiff, in as much as what really inspired you to make it happen?
So, this started when I was working in a restaurant where I was the head chef, and there was me and one member of staff. So I was the head chef of one.
Oh, wow.
And the restaurant was dead.
How many covers? Oh.
We would do 2 covers a day.
Really?
It was bad.
Oh.
So what I was doing at the time, despite being a head chef, I'd only been cooking for about a year and a half. I had absolutely no business running anything. However, I could be a head chef for one other person that was in university, so that's what they did. So what I used to do was I used to bring in cookbooks to continue trying to teach myself how to cook.
I love that.
And this was back in 2017. And I had a cookbook called America, the Cookbook. And I came across a recipe for something called Nashville hot chicken, which at the time, it just didn't exist. It didn't exist anywhere. And they had a preparation where there was a spiced oil that you would make fried chicken, and then you would dip that chicken into this spiced oil mix. And I thought it was the craziest thing I've ever heard in my life. Just making a spicy oil and dipping the chicken into was crazy. So I started making it at home. And I made it just for myself and Natalia, my wonderful wife, who's probably listening. Hi, Natalia. And we just made it at home until a few years later we ended up living in Vancouver in Canada.
Wow.
And there was a hot chicken scene. Hot chicken was everywhere. It was starting to become a really big thing in North America at the time.
Okay.
And I went to a place called Down Low Chicken Shack. And because I'd been making Nashville hot chicken at home, I said, give me the spiciest thing you got. I'm fine.
Oh, no.
I can handle it. And I think it was called Side of Milk. It needed to be Side of Extinguisher. I nearly died.
Oh.
It was, at that time, the hottest thing I'd ever eaten.
Really?
And I remember leaving, having my first spice high.
Yeah.
And a spice high is a crazy thing because your body thinks that it's under attack.
Yes.
So it starts releasing endorphins. It starts releasing adrenaline. And then all of that kind of wears off and you're left with a very sort of dizzy, almost drunk kind of feeling. And I loved it.
Oh,
I absolutely loved it. I'm not a big
Sucker
drinker.
for punishment.
So, to be able to get that kind of feeling
High.
just from eating food was phenomenal. And I couldn't make it to Nashville when I left Vancouver, but I really wanted to because I thought it was a great idea. So instead, I ended up going to LA.
Oh.
Because I could make a connecting flight from LA, and it would, it'd just be 3 days for me just to hang out in LA. And there's a place in LA called Howlin' Ray's.
Yeah.
Now, I had to queue for 4 hours for my chicken at Howlin' Ray's.
Oh, no.
And every second of that 4 hours was worth it.
Really?
I'm wearing my Howlin' Ray's Adidas trainers right now to still, rep the place that it was far better than the chicken I was making at home. It was far better than the chicken I had in Vancouver. It was, a viral sensation at the time, and every bit worth it. It just deserved every accolade that it had. And it was a lot sweeter a chicken than I was eating in Vancouver. They really had their flavors dialed.
Okay.
And it was, up to that time, the coolest restaurant I've ever been in my life.
Yeah.
And so I left LA thinking, man, if we just had one of these in Cardiff, this would be the greatest restaurant that I could possibly go to.
Yeah.
And a few years later, COVID happens. I'm left at home for 3 months on furlough with nothing to do. So I start coming up with some hot chicken recipes. Ones that kind of reminded me a lot more of Howlin' Ray's than the stuff I was making at home before. And I started taking photos of the food and posting on Instagram that I was posting like we were already a company.
Yeah.
And I was saying, hey guys, new menu item coming
Manifest,
today.
have you got it?
Yeah, and people were messaging me saying, hey, where do I get your food? How can I buy it? And I was like, I don't know you. This is a friends and family thing.
That's how it works.
You could out me. I could get in trouble here.
No, I know.
I wasn't selling anything. I was just pretending to,
Oh, right.
hoping to get enough of a following that I could strong arm some way into letting me trade.
Okay.
I didn't know at the time how to open my own restaurant, how to become a street food trader, none of that sort of stuff. But I thought that if I built up enough of an Instagram following, something would happen.
So, yeah.
So we got up over 1,000 followers, and I posted to our Instagram stories saying, hey guys, if anyone wants to hook us up with a place to trade from, a cafe in the evening, that was closed in the evening but open in the day, please just let us. And thankfully, Sticky Fingers, that is over on Richmond Road, reached out to us and said, hey, let's have a talk. And it went from there.
Wow, look how that's a
I
great
know.
idea. You've just given everyone else a great idea there as well. Those in the same position. I've
Work,
never
work
thought
with
about
what
doing
you've
something
got,
like
guys.
that.
Work with what you've got. That's
Absolutely,
all
I
you can
might
do.
try that myself. Ooh, talk about your signature dish. For someone who's never been, how would you describe Fowl and Fury's signature dish?
So, Fowl and Fury's signature dish, if I don't trip over my own tongue there,
I do it as well.
is called the Sando. It is a chicken sandwich with a slaw, a comeback sauce, which is kind of like a peppery Thousand Islands, and it's pickles that we make in-house, and it comes at 6 different spice levels. So we start at country, then we have extra mild, medium, hot, and then finally Fury. And Fury is nasty. Fury is so spicy.
Wow.
But the Sando situation is a little controversial. So the word Sando is a Japanese word for a sandwich that is made with milk bread or shokupan.
Yeah.
And a lot of people message us saying that we shouldn't be able to call it a Sando because it's not in milk bread.
Oh.
But as far as we're concerned, the etymology comes from 2 different places.
Okay.
So we're not calling it a Sando because it's made with milk bread, because it's not. We're calling it a Sando because Howlin' Ray's called theirs a Sando.
Okay.
And we're paying a little respect to Howlin' Ray's, because if it wasn't for them, we wouldn't be here.
Yes, exactly.
You know, and it's not a chicken burger, because a burger is a patty made from reformed meat, like a mince formed into a patty. So it can't be a burger. And I don't want to call it a chicken sandwich because it didn't sound cool enough. You know, so we get people calling it a chicken, and that's fine. I don't want to argue with everyone. If you come into Fowl and Fury and you call it a chicken burger, fine. But if you're going to call us out for calling it a Sando, whereas you call it a burger, technically only one of us is wrong. Because it is absolutely not a burger, it is a sandwich.
That's right. Good for you. Stand your ground. You can do whatever you want.
If I want to call it a soup,
you can.
I'll call it. Do you know what I did do once? I called it a chicken butty.
I love it.
Because we brought out this argument on Instagram, and I decided to ask, what makes a butty? What do you think? Because you can get a bacon butty, you can get a chip butty, maybe a sausage butty at a push.
Yeah.
But what makes it a butty? I don't think there are established rules.
No. Are there?
I don't know. I actually, if anyone does know,
Google that.
please let us know. But we renamed it on our menu, and we called it a chicken butty for the day, thinking it'd be hilarious. But we had a lot of people come in going, what's a chicken butty? And I felt a little bit awkward after a day, so I had to take it down.
Put it back.
I had to put it back.
Don't let people get to you and change your menu. Stick to what you want to call it. It's yours. How do you balance flavour and heat so it's not just hot for hot's sake?
Okay, so this is a tough one because at the upper end of the scale, it gets very spicy. And Fury, here's something I'd like to tell all of our listeners,
Go on.
you know, and everyone that is listening to this. I've told our Instagram this a million times. We can make Fury 10 times hotter instantly.
Oh.
You know, so we have never bragged about having the hottest fried chicken in Cardiff, or the hottest foods, or the hottest, because every year a new pepper gets invented, a new chili gets crossbred. You know, I think now we're on Pepper X. There was Carolina Reaper, there was Ghost, there was
Trinidad Scorpion,
yeah,
Scotch
exactly.
Bonnet.
You know, there's always hotter. So anyone that claims we're the hottest, for 2 weeks, you know, before someone else kind of makes another hotter one. So we've never claimed to be the hottest, but with Fury is the absolute hottest that I can go and still get the nuance of the flavor. So if I were to make it any hotter, it'd be so spicy that I couldn't tell you if it's good or not. You know, I genuinely couldn't taste it. Oh, this tastes horrible. But with Fury, that is where I cry, my eyes out. But I can turn around and go, maybe it needs a little more garlic powder.
Yeah.
You know, if it was any hotter than that and someone would go, what do you think it needs? I'm like, I can't taste anything. I have no idea if this is good. So to quality control our food is a very difficult thing.
Yeah.
But Fury is, that's where I absolutely top out on being able to tell you whether or not it's good. And we made it hotter once for a gentleman that sent us a message just saying, mess me up.
Oh,
and
dear.
We thought that he was a regular at the time. His name is Ellis. Ellis, if you're listening, you are the reason that rule number 1 is don't touch your eyes. So he said, mess me up. So we went, you know what, we will. So we went into the back. We made a little concoction. This was in our early sticky finger days. And he had a chicken tender. And the problem with tenders, they get all over your hands. And he had an itchy eye. And I only found out because I looked out of the window and he's got a roll of blue roll in his hands, the sticky finger employee next to him, and he's tipping milk into his eye, thinking
goodness.
that is going to solve anything.
Oh my God.
And so I ended up feeling really bad, and I had to take him up to the bathroom in sticky fingers and wash his eyes. And it was a very strange moment, but he's still a customer of ours today.
Okay.
And he sent us a message that night saying, that you had an employee that was really helpful today. Can I send him a tip? And I was like, hey, Ellis, it's me. I'm the owner. I'm the guy that took you to the bathroom and helped you wash your eye. So yeah, Ellis, amazing. Thank you so much.
That's hilarious. All the engineer's doing is laughing his head off.
I just introduced that as John R. Miller. It is not John R. Miller. John R. Miller is a fantastic country artist, but he is not that person. That is Stephen Wilson Jr. with Cuckoo.
And I keep introducing you as Fowl and Fury, and you're actually Jamie Reese of Fowl and Fury.
That is right. I think I put the Fury in Fowl and Fury. Jamie Reese.
Jamie Reese it is. Now then, how do you maintain consistency with something as tricky as fried chicken?
Now, consistency is hard. I can make probably one of the best, what I believe to be the best chicken sandwich in a complete vacuum. As can most chefs, or most head chefs.
Only as good as your last cook-off.
Exactly. But restaurants don't operate in a vacuum. They're very dynamic places with staff. All the staff kind of have different techniques, different ways of doing things.
Yep.
So we try to train up our staffs as best as we possibly can. My fingers are permanently cramping. If you've seen that episode of Friends where Chandler's got like a claw from breading the chicken, I've got a claw. So you can only really train your staff as well as you can possibly train them.
Yeah.
And we've spent a lot of time at Fowl and Fury training our staff to be the best that they can be for sending out our product.
Great.
And we're super proud of them. We think they do an incredible job.
That's
Our
nice.
general manager, Chris, is a wonderful guy, great worker.
Oh.
And there are a couple of things that we think give our product a bit of an edge. And so we brine our chicken overnight. We use a wet brine. We essentially make our own buttermilk.
Ooh.
We make a version of a buttermilk. So
cool.
when we first started, we used to buy our own buttermilk. We used to buy it in.
Yeah.
And there were certain I don't want to give too much away, because this is insider baseball.
Yes, of course.
And Natalia, if she's listening to this, is probably freaking out right now, being like, shut up!
Don't give our secrets away.
Please don't tell anyone. But we found that it didn't quite work for the product that we were trying to put out. It wasn't doing quite the right thing.
Okay.
So we make a version of our own buttermilk.
Wow.
We brine it overnight. We make our own flour. We make our own spices.
How many people can
we
say
make
that?
our own pickles. We apart from our buns that we get made in Newport by North Star Bakery to order. They're a fantastic bakery. We make everything ourselves, and the pickles are hard to make because we don't have the right equipment for cutting pickles at speed. So we still have a hand crinkle cutter, and every pickle that anyone has ever eaten at Fowl and Fury has been hand cut one by one and then brined by us.
Wow.
Every piece of chicken you've eaten, we've made the flour, we've made the wet brine, the dry brine, the spice mixes, we've made everything. And it's probably at our detriment. We're probably a lot more prep heavy than you would expect a chicken shop
I bet.
to be. But we think that our food has integrity, and there are a lot of places out there that may not want that level of work in their product. We want that level of work in our product. We think it deserves it.
If
we
you
think
want
that
the
our
best,
customers deserve. You've got to do it yourself.
Yeah.
You know, and
I don't know
yes.
anyone else who's doing that though. Kudos to you.
Thank you. The consistency is hard. It is hard to get that perfect product, and we may not always put it out 100% perfect, but man, we try. You know,
handmade from scratch.
Yeah.
Everyone loves that. Homemade, handmade. I love Astrid. We had Astrid in a couple of weeks ago, and she is phenomenal. And
brilliant. I love Astrid's food.
And you're offering the same kind of thing, everything from scratch, everything handmade.
Yeah.
In a bulk scale every day. That is phenomenal.
For two restaurants, you know.
Speechless.
And people are like, oh, it's a chicken shop. Yes, we definitely are. We're not any better than it, but we're a chicken shop that really tries, you know. I think
You can say that again.
we try, and I'll tell you something, when we're making that fury powder in a back room by ourselves and all you can hear is 3 members of staff crying and sneezing and spluttering. I mean, it's better now we have the main kitchen over in Canton, because the back room in Cathays, that used to be something special. When someone was making fury back there, you'd walk in to do the dishes and you would just hear the staff just run out, covering their mouth, covering their nose. Fury's nasty.
Wow.
Yeah.
And everyone just makes it from scratch. That's incredible. How many staff do you have?
I think we probably have about 12 staff now.
Okay, so that's enough really, isn't it?
Yeah, you know, and that's over 2 sites, including the prep. We probably have about 4, 5, maybe 5 staff over in Cathays.
Okay.
And then, my math is terrible, the rest. I'm going to say the rest over in Canton.
Wow, I'm loving that. How do you use social media to connect with your fans? Any viral moments or challenges? And I personally love how you're going against the grain and not using influencers.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
That influencer thing might come back to bite us a little bit, but it's something that we have started from the beginning. You know, our whole thing was initially, we wanted to know that our food was actually good. We wanted people to like it because it was actually good.
Yes.
And when we started Fowl and Fury, you know, that was important because we needed it to be good. If this was going to work,
yes,
it needed to be good. And I think if we brought in influencers to influence everyone that it was quote unquote good, we wouldn't actually know. You know, we wouldn't know what we needed to fix, what needed to improve.
Exactly.
And so it started there, and you know, I'm very outgoing publicly, and I'm very outgoing a lot of the time. I'm not a massive fan of small talk though, and I will let anyone know this right now. I'm quite insular, and very often someone, you know, an influencer will message us out of the blue and just say, hey. And I look at their page, and you know, they've got quite a big following. And I know that if I message back, hey, that they're then going to tell me they're an influencer and they want. So I'm really sorry if you have done this, and I'm sorry to come across rude. But I shy away from those because it's an awkward conversation. I appreciate the people that have come out off their own back and tried our food. There are several influencers that I respect. You have Boss Finesse over in Bristol, and the Yummy Diaries. Nikita, by the way, is probably someone that has worked harder to market Fowl and Fury than Fowl and Fury ever marketed. And Nikita she's bought a hoodie. She's promoted us every step of the way. That is fine. I think if you want to come to Fowl and Fury, I think it's very disingenuous to only come
for free stuff
if the food is free.
Yeah.
I think it's insulting to a lot of the restaurants that work incredibly hard to only go if the food is free.
Yeah.
And it's just not something that I've been a massive fan of. I'm totally up for influencers, or you know, I don't really like that term, content creators, whatever.
Yes, I know. And sometimes they can be quite rude.
Yeah, some are. And you know, we've had people 2 years, 3 years ago message us, hey, can we come for some food? And politely declined because we have a long-standing policy of that. Never saw them again. Never saw them come into the restaurant. And there's something about that I just don't like. So if you are an influencer, a content creator, a foodie that wants to go to a restaurant and take, your pictures and your videos, and all, I totally support that.
Pay for it, though.
It would be nice if you could pay for it.
Absolutely.
That would be great.
Coming from the industry,
yeah.
we're not millionaires.
Instead of maybe just promoting the bigger chains, promote the littler ones. Or do what's the American version of one for me, one for you? When they do movies?
Yeah.
So if you are going to promote those big ones, charge them.
Exactly.
Don't charge the little guys.
I actually found you through Fresh Baguette, and I love the fact that someone with such a great reputation,
shout out Gaz and Sam,
sharing you. So I'm thinking, you must be fantastic, because they wouldn't otherwise, would they?
Thank you.
So that in itself is a huge accolade.
That is, that's an incredible honour. I'm a massive fan of Fresh. I'm a massive fan of a lot of people in the Cardiff food scene. Matsudai Raman, Brother Ty. I saw you at Matty's Chop Shop.
Yeah,
Not
we
been
love
to Matty's
Matty.
yet. That was a
guy.
Great episode. He sounds like a
really
lovely dude. But one of my, I don't know if anyone else has felt this, by the way, at home. I'm going off a little bit on a tangent here. There is no bigger stress in Cardiff than being at the front of the second queue at Fresh. Now, for those of you that don't know, Fresh has 2 queues because they don't want you blocking doors, so they split the queue in half. But if you are at the front of the second queue, you have to be the person telling off the people trying to join the front queue. Yeah, you are the doorman of the front queue. So every time I go to the front of the second queue, my heart rate goes up through the roof. It's conflict. The queue's actually over here. I know you think you're in the right queue.
I know.
There's another one. There's 20 people you still have to wait through.
Yeah, I wouldn't like to do that.
But Fresh, an absolute honour that they, mentioned us. They're a wonderful company. They deserve, all the success that they have.
I'd love to have them on the show, but they obviously don't. They don't want. They're too busy, I think.
What are you doing, guys?
I know, innit?
You shut at like 4:00. Come out.
If you could collaborate with another Cardiff restaurant, who would it be and why?
Oh, that is a tough one. So, collaborations are tough. And for us as well, we have one of the smallest menus of all time. We have literally 4 menu items. Really, in the chicken section, you've got the sando, the tenders, the mac and cheese, and the Fury fries. And I don't know what we would do if we were to collaborate with someone. Do we give them our spices? Do we take their stuff and make it spicy? What do we do? I
see what you mean. From what angle would you?
Yeah, from what angle do we approach it? And again, that conversation is awkward enough for me to completely shy away from it.
Right.
So what I'm going to do instead, shout out to Fresh. Shout out to Matsudai Ramen. Shout out Brother Thai. Shout out to So Good Chinese restaurant on Crewis Road.
I have to go there.
Now,
never been there.
The thing about So Good, and I'm going to use the rest of my time on this question just to shout out this one restaurant if I can, is every time I go in there lately, it's quiet.
Oh.
And that scares me because it is my favorite restaurant.
Oh.
Whenever me and Nat are feeling down, whenever we're celebrating something, whenever anything good happens,
is that nice, huh?
They have a dish there. It's called chicken in dry chili.
Okay.
And I think it's called lasiji. It is some of the best fried chicken, I think, in Cardiff.
Wow.
And that is a bold statement, but I've said this before and I'll say it again.
Okay.
It is a Szechuan dish, so it's a little spicy. It's got Szechuan peppercorns, so it's mala, mouth numbing. And it's essentially just fried chicken, just covered in chili.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, guys. If you go in, don't eat the chili. You're not supposed to. It's dry chilies. It's there for flavour.
Yeah.
I learned the hard way of when I first started eating it. I was like, this dish is wonderful, but they never cook those chilies right. But yeah, you're not supposed to. They're dry chilies.
I'm surprised you've got any lining left on your stomach the way you eat chilies.
Honestly, now you'll see me at Fowl and Fury. We get asked very often, what is your favourite spice? Mild. Right, mild is the one you'll catch me in the most. I can eat Fury. I eat Fowl and Fury Fowl and Fury. I eat Fury for quality control. I eat it for social media.
Of course.
I do not eat it on a regular basis. this. Absolutely not. Skip me with that. But I'll go from mild. Every now and again, I go up to hot. And I'll skip medium because every heat increase you go to at Fowl and Fury, we introduce a new chili.
Oh.
So if you start off at medium, we've said this before, I'm happy to say that here, one of the chilies that is in medium is going to be habanero.
Okay.
And then when you go up to hot, we introduce a different chili. And then Fury, we introduce a different chili on top of the previous chilies. So by the time you get to Fury, you have 6
I bet my brother would do that.
different types of chilies. But here's the thing. They all burn differently.
Okay.
Like the actual feeling of the way that they burn
The sweats.
is, you sweat from different places depending on what the chili is.
Okay.
Medium is really aggressive at the front, so it'll burn your lips.
Oh.
Sort of that T area, with your head and your eyebrows, it burns there.
Okay.
Hot starts making the top of your head tingle, and it gives you about a 5-second head start. It's like, hey, we're going to burn now. You ready?
Yeah.
Whereas medium is just a punch to the face that you didn't expect was going to come. Fury actually takes 40 seconds to kick in. So quite often, one of the best things about seeing someone eat Fury is when they think they got a dud.
Oh, no.
Right? Because this will happen almost every time.
And then uppercut.
Yeah, someone will take a bite. Oh, it's not that spicy. And then, wait, I think maybe, and then and they take another bite because they're like, oh, this is fine, everyone's been bigging this up. It's nothing, I can handle it. And then 40 seconds later, it kicks in, and everything they've eaten kicks in at once. And we have a rule that if they are over 5'5", or definitely if they're over 6 foot, they're gonna struggle. They're gonna, we see rugby player types coming in. We're based in Cathays, so we have a lot of the rugby students coming in, and like, raw, give me Fury, and then they really struggle. But if someone comes in and they're 5 foot nothing, they're going to be totally fine. They're going to be totally fine. It's a wonderful thing to watch.
Yes,
it's a great
entertaining.
thing to watch.
I think I'm going to sit there and just watch people come in myself, and I'll
do it.
People watch. One thing I wanted to highlight, I saw your Sundays, and your Sundays make everyone else's Sundays look like Mondays.
What a wonderful thing to say.
Tell us about your Sundays.
Thank you so much. Funny story with the Sundays, actually. For a while, they were not selling. They didn't sell at all. And it's because, so me and Natalia, we designed the menu of both restaurants.
Wicked, amazing.
It's difficult. We don't understand graphic design, and we're very new to business ownership, you know. Before Fowl, this is our first business. This is the first one we've ever, ran or owned. So we don't know how to do certain things. So we have a very almost kind of punk rock DIY ethos to it, where it's like, look, if we don't know how to do it, if we don't know how to bring someone on board to do this for us, let's figure out how to do it ourselves. We kind of built and decorated the first restaurant, and we built and decorated the second restaurant. So you can see, if you go into Cathays and you look at the bar, where you stand and you order your food, don't put anything on top of the bar because it will slide off towards you. We built that entire restaurant with a DIY handbook.
Oh, I love a dream team.
One of those like how to
solid
do this
together
thing.
And making it work. I love that.
Thank you.
The dream team. Yeah.
And so when we designed the menu, we just put soft serve because originally that's what we just also kind of thought we were selling, and we didn't fully understand what it was going to be. And then when we opened, we didn't promote it in any way. We didn't take any photos. We didn't show anyone. So hidden in a section called Frozen, which people don't also know what that means. And I don't blame them. I thought I was being cool, and it turns out you need to make things very clear. So I should have said milkshakes and other ice cream related items. Is a thing called soft serve. It's £4. You can get sundaes. We do 4 of them. Vanilla, chocolate, Biscoff, and there's
they're
a
quite
strawberry.
Big.
They're wonderful, and I need people to start buying them, because at the end of the night you have to clean an ice cream machine, and if there's too much ice cream left, I start eating the ice cream.
Call me, I'll come and help you.
It's a problem. I used to be a lot slimmer before we started Fowl and Theory. And COVID hit and a lot of people got fit. I started frying fried chicken. So it's not worked out, and now we're selling ice cream and I'm eating that as well. So
Shut up, you look great.
thank you so much.
So you and your wife Natalia went on a food trip across the US from LA to New Orleans and New York. What surprised you the most about southern food changes from place to place?
That's a really good question, and just I'd like to apologise as well. I had no idea there was a swear word at the end of that song. Yeah, so me and Natalia, we got married 4 years ago now, while we were still at Sticky, and we went on a 2-month trip. We spent 1 month in Mexico. So shout out to that song that just played. I think that's really good time. And then we spent a month traveling through the southern US states. So we started off, we went back to LA, where we say that our food is LA style Nashville hot chicken. So there's, sub-genres within a subgenre.
Of course.
So we went to, Dave's Hot Chicken. We tried to go to Howlin' Ray's, but it turns out we went there around Labor Day, and they were closed again. And it's a shame because they were the reason that, we started the whole thing. So we ate a lot of fried chicken there, and then we went down, we went to Texas, we went to New Orleans, we went to Tennessee, so we went to Nashville.
Wow.
And there's a saying that we think that we know what America is, right? Because we see it on TV. Everything that we kind of consume has an American lens on it.
Yes.
But there is a saying, the problem with America is that they speak English. Right? So they are a vastly different country than what we think they are.
Yeah.
If you spend a lot of time in America, each of the states are incredibly different. With the massive sort of Mexican influence that happens, in the southern parts of Texas. It's practically Mexico and cowboys.
Of course it is.
And then you go down to one of my favorite places is New Orleans, and New Orleans is insane.
Yeah.
So you think it's America, but everything is French and Spanish and jazz and blues.
I love jazz and blues.
And everywhere you go for foods, everything's French, there's Etouffee.
Really?
And La Galatoire is a restaurant out there.
Creole, I suppose.
And Creole and Cajun. And a lot of it is, because they're on a bayou, which is essentially, the easiest way to look at it is if an estuary meets a swamp.
Yeah.
And there's alligators there, and crawfish, and they eat a lot of okra, but that was brought over from Africa, right? And there's a lot of rice, and it's a complete different world.
Yes.
So when we ended up in Nashville, we realized that although our food is the LA Nashville hot chicken, Nashville chicken it has its roots from black communities.
Yes, it does.
And one of the major complaints that I see when it comes to Nashville hot chicken, and there is going to be a company moving in soon, I imagine, a big brand called Dave's Hot Chicken. Now, I would like us to do a lot better than Dave's Hot Chicken. They're going to be big rivals of ours.
Right.
But a lot of the comments I see that are negative towards Dave's are about the white piece of bread that comes with the chicken. And it's a barbecue thing, it's a Nashville hot chicken thing. So traditionally, Nashville hot chicken comes on a piece of white bread. The rule was the loaf of bread is not allowed to be any more expensive than $2.
Okay.
Because it was a barbecue food. It was it's a fried chicken. It's an oily chicken essentially that sits on this piece of white bread. And it was a cheap way to fill people up. It was a cheap way to bulk out a meal.
Of course, yeah.
In kind of impoverished areas. Yeah. And also, it's a really good way, if you rip off the bread, you can grab the chicken without getting your hands dirty. And when we first started doing just the piece of white bread, we got dragged for it.
No.
Everyone was like, oh yeah, why are you using Hovis bread under your...
Oh,
Listen,
my goodness.
Hovis is expensive bread. If the rule is no more than, than $2.
Tell them to do their research, man.
Yeah, and this is the problem that one of the many problems I have with social media is there is a loud voice and a sort of a miseducated voice.
Yes.
You know, so we were told that we should stop doing the white breads, and I refused to stop doing the white bread.
Stand your ground.
Yeah, because it's tradition, and
Yeah.
it needed its roots in tradition. So what we did instead was we put a garlic oil on the bread and toasted it. We tried to make it more palatable for the city that we are in.
Yeah.
But we couldn't get rid of it entirely because it'd be disingenuous.
Take away the authenticity.
It would take away the authenticity.
Of course it would, wouldn't it? We are short on time. Let's have a look. What was the one? Let's do the personal preference round. Ranch or blue cheese?
Ranch.
Bone in or boneless?
Ooh, we only sell boneless.
Oh,
but I prefer bone in.
okay. Mild or inferno?
So, mild.
Okay. Any plans to expand and take Fowl and Fury on the road?
We would absolutely love if these restaurants, would do well on their own, Cathays and Canton.
Mm-hmm.
They have to run to the standard that me and Natalia would like.
Yeah.
We would love it if we could be in Bristol next year.
Fantastic, I love that. And that's a wrap on today's flavour-packed chat with the legends from Fowl and Fury, Jamie Rees. Thank you to them for joining us and bringing the heat, both in the kitchen and on the airwaves. If you haven't tried their Nashville hot chicken yet, what are you waiting for? Head down to Canton and Cathays and taste the Fury for yourself. Just maybe bring a glass of milk.
Yeah, or buy a sundae.
Yeah, gotta be done. I'm off to Fowl and Fury for supper, suckers. Bye-bye.
Radio Cardiff, hot in up the air.